Why aren't you playing this game in 2024? Alright, I gotta give you a picture. Alright, let's move brains.
Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go!
No! Don't do it!
We shot that man today. Oh my God!
I'm not a terrorist. I'm a patriot.
Not today, America. My head hurts.
That's your brain.
Who's that?
So you might be wondering, boom, why'd I click on this video? Well, I'm going to tell you. But first, I'm going to give a shout out to MH Gaming. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for their Discord. And if you're going to play Arma Reforger, look up MH Gaming in the server player list and join that sucker. You're going to have a lot of fun. The reason I'm shouting out them, the little gameplay you saw in the beginning, the montage, that's what some of the gameplay was from my time playing on that server. But it's a real good time. John, the owner, awesome guy. Community's pretty awesome too. You're going to make a lot of friends. Check him out. Without further ado, back to the video. There's a game you're missing out on, and I know you're missing it. It's called Arma Reforger. Now you can look this up on Steam. Just go to the store page, look up Arma Reforger, the platform for it. They have a platform now. But if you're into the whole sandbox games, or you like military simulation, you like fighting games, I think you're gonna like this game. And I think it's worth buying into it now, because it is cheaper. It's not like a full out game. With all the mods and everything that's been added, you're definitely gonna get your time out of it. If you're a PC player, if you're a console player, it's gonna be great for you because it has cross-platform. You got a friend that has Xbox, and it is on Xbox. But if you got a friend that got Xbox and you're a PC guy, this is one of those games both of you guys can play. And I do want to say this off the bat. Whenever I heard that Arma Reforger was coming to console, I figured for the Arma series, it was going to be kind of a hindrance because I figured they were going to focus too much on the console and not the computer version, the PC. And to me, that just made it seem like they were going to kind of dumb things down, make things simpler, and kind of just take the Arma feel and like the complex strategy and controls and all that out of the equation. But that's actually not the case. They figured out how to make it work so that even with your controller, it still works. That being said, we're going to go over a couple things here. I'm going to kind of sell you on this game. Now, before I sell you on this game, I want to say that if you plan on getting this game, one of the biggest modes on this game is right here. That'd be conflict. This is pretty much Arma Reforger's, like, and right here it says it, principal multiplayer game mode. So this is the main game mode, and essentially what it is there are two teams that fight against each other, and that is usually US and Soviet Russia. And it takes place during the Cold War, as you can see in these images here. Soviet soldiers laying on the ground over here, dead. But if you're into the whole like FPS, sandbox shooter, all that, you're gonna love this because it gives you like that open world space. It's not like Call of Duty. You're not stuck on a small map and you're just back to back to back. There's strategy involved in it. They got big maps. They have helicopters. They got jeeps. They got vehicles. everything. You go head to head, fighting over objectives and control points, and we'll kind of get into that. But you'll be able to see that there's supplies around the map, and you can transport supplies so that you can earn equipment for yourself. But if you're in that whole thing, trust me, it's a lot of fun. Now, there's official servers, and there's also unofficial servers. I usually pick the unofficial servers. Now, Arma's always been pretty high up there with their workshop. Now, it used to be the workshop ran through Steam, but on Arma Reforger, it is now run as its own separate entity. You can join servers, download the mods, and get in. I can't speak for the console players, but I know it's a pretty popular game on Xbox now. It's probably one of the more complex shooters that you can play on Xbox at this point. Let's just say, from Arma 3 to this game, the graphic fidelity has increased tenfold. I mean, the stuff that's, and I'll show you, I mean, in-game, there's houses everywhere, fully furnished, and the forests and scenery and everything. It's amazing how well the game can run. And that was the biggest offset from Arma 3 to here, is Arma 3 is very CPU based, and that bottlenecks your computer. And then obviously it wasn't available on console. The beautiful landscapes and the gameplay and everything, it just runs so much better than Arma 3. And if you've never played Arma before, I think this is a great time to get involved, because this is the road to Arma 4. It is the road to Arma 4 right here. The first milestone on the long road to Arma 4. With that being said, if you guys go to the multiplayer, the server I'm playing on is MH Gaming. You can see it here on the screen. Blood and Sand, PvE, VP, Conflict. So Conflict, that's that game mode I was talking about earlier. And as soon as we get into the game, which I'll switch over to, you'll see how Conflict works. Now, when you get in game, it's going to ask you to pick two sides. On this specific server, you have the terrorists, or you have the United States. And it takes place in Iraq in 2004. So Desert Storm, that's kind of the idea they're going for. So I'm just going to unload some of my equipment. But off the bat, every time you're playing Conflict, you have a headquarters, and that's where you'll have your arsenal and vehicles and whatnot. And there's two separate arsenals. There's one with clothing items and basic equipment, and the other one's for weapons and ammunition. So I'll just kind of scroll through here and show you guys some of this. Little side note, when you guys are playing this, make sure you stock up on medical equipment, because in a scenario where you're fighting other players, you're going to get into gunfights, and you're going to need to be able to heal yourself and treat your wounds, so make sure you stock up on that. Also, with these arsenals, you saw that little save loadout, and you want to make sure you do that every time, no matter what Conflict server you play on. This way you can just respawn using the loadout you just made, and everything you have is saved. Now, as we get in this vehicle, you'll notice how, like I was talking about earlier, especially from Arma 3 to this game, the vehicles are a lot more realistic. You can see, like, he's really turning the key to get the vehicle started, and it doesn't start up right away, because, you know, you gotta hold the key, you gotta twist it before it'll start. But I'm just gonna head over to one of the battle zones so you guys kind of see what it looks like here on the map. You can see how they had objectives, and that's pretty much the whole point of the game. You go around, you take objectives from the opposing factions, and that's how you fight and win. So it was pretty cool. I just Tokyo drifted in here, but I'm gonna just show you guys a little bit of how the combat is in here. So they do have AI that they're walking around. They're in control of these points, and they do respawn even if you own the point. So currently, I don't believe this objective is currently occupied by the opposing faction, but it is occupied by the AI. So whether it be players or the AI, you have to fight for control over it. And you guys will see that. Now these fights get pretty intense, and you'll see right now I just got killed by the AI. So you really got to pay attention when you're dealing with them. They're not like easy targets all the time, especially when there's more than one. At least on this server specifically, there can be like 5 to 10. So you really got to pay attention, in combined with other players being there at the same time, you know. So I'll give you guys a little brief summary. On the front page, if you want mods, you go to the workshop, and this is where you can look for mods. So if you're hosting your own server and you're looking for mods that add different weapons, this, that, and the other, because this is a Cold War era base game, but it doesn't have to be. So that's how the workshop works. People can make maps, people can make mods and add new armor and equipment, just like MH Gaming. On the server there, you can see that, you know, everything's kind of Desert Storm related, not Cold War related. So that's just kind of how the workshop works. But when servers have it set up, you can just join, it'll download the mods and set them up for you. So the last little thing I want to kind of hit on was, we had talked about the workbench, and that's where you go to create mods. I made a mod, I made a faction mod, haven't updated it since, and I'm currently working on a map. I'm calling it Salty Waters, so you can look out for it. I'll put a link in the description if I ever release it by then. Maybe I'll update the video and add the link, but I'll just kind of show you guys my map in its current state. It's not done, obviously. It's going to be a little laggy up there, just because of the way I'm recording and all the assets are loading in and everything for the first time. But essentially, you can make whatever you want. I mean, you can just add data from places. You can get real world data and put it in this game and translate it into the game. So if you wanted to make a city or a place you live by, use a satellite map and the map data for it, and then you can pretty much, I don't know, recreate your hometown or something, or, you know, some vague island in Europe. And it's up to you. It'll give you kind of like a flat surface to build from. Now I made mine from scratch, which is a little bit harder. I didn't have any map data or this, that, the other. I just kind of started building. It's a 4x4 kilometer map. So it's not super big, but I'm one person and I got a full-time job, so I don't really have a lot of time to, you know, just put into it. But I like to think I do a pretty good job. So you can look around here at some of these buildings and whatnot. I'm not going to show you everything on my map, but you can see a lot of it's unfinished. But when it comes to you guys doing it, it's up to you. You know, if this is something you choose to go down, there's plenty of tutorials out there. If you guys really wanted me to make one, I could. But I think there's people out there that explain things better than I could. But as you can see up there, I'm changing the material. And, you know, this is how you add the detail into your worlds. And they have generators for forests and roads and this, that, the other. So it's really up to you to make what you want. Now, with all that being said, you might be like, I already knew a bunch of this. Oh, I play Arma 3, I don't know. You know, I see plenty of people that play Arma 3, and they're wondering whether or not they should get Arma Reforger. I can tell you right now, Arma 4 is probably still a whiles away. This is part of the road to Arma 4, but you might not see it for a while, and I don't, as far as the price point is, I think this is a game that you're going to want to get if you want to have fun. You know, it's good for console, good for PC players. You can have a lot of fun with the sandbox. I mean, it's really creative. It's up to you. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one with your money. So if I were you, make your decision. And I just want to ask you guys, why aren't you playing this game in 2024?